Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Show, my 2022 college football predictions show. First, I'm going to do the standings for each conference, and then we'll do postseason stuff, such as the college football playoff, national champion, the bowl teams, New Year's Six, and the regular bowls, and then we'll do awards, like pick the Heisman winner and stuff like that. And then I'll give out some bets, and then miscellaneous bowl predictions throughout the year. So we'll start with the standings, and we'll start with the American Athletic Conference. Coming in first place in the conference this year with a record overall of 11-1 and 8-0 in conference play, have the Cincinnati Bearcats. Don't forget, guys, new in the American Athletic Conference, no more divisions. So Cincinnati, new quarterback coming in, replacing Desmond Ridder. They're deep at running back. They're deep all around on offense. They have a great offensive line. Their pass rush should be decent. Secondary could be good. And then special teams isn't bad either. So Cincinnati should be the pick to win this conference yet again. Coming in second with a record of 7-5 overall and 5-3 in conference play, have the East Carolina Pirates. They have a solid starting quarterback in Holton Ehlers, as he's a senior already, and then they have a good running game. But they're not deep at receiver or tight end. I don't know if I trust the offensive line. Pass rush, I like their interior. They have a couple good defensive backs, and they have a solid kicker as well. Coming in third with the record of 8-4 overall and 5-3 in conference play, have the Memphis Tigers. They have a solid quarterback in Seth Hannigan. They really don't have much offensive firepower like they used to. They have two guys coming back from the offensive line. Their pass rush should be okay, and I do like their secondary, though. I got to admit, I do like their secondary. I think they're going to miss Calvin Austin big time, the Memphis Tigers. Coming in fourth place in this conference with a record of 7-5 overall and 5-3 in conference play, the Houston Cougars. Houston, Clayton Tune's back. Similar to Memphis, they don't have a lot of firepower, but they have a little bit more firepower than Memphis, though. Solid line. Their pass rush is absolutely nasty. They have an okay secondary as well. I do think they'll miss Logan Hall. Fourth place in the conference fifth in the conference with a record of 8-4 overall and 5-3 in conference play, have the Tulsa Golden. Why am I blanking on Tulsa's, the Golden Hurricane? That's right. I knew I was blanking on their name. Their offense is going to be really good. Very good on the perimeter. I don't like their offensive line, though. Their pass rush is mediocre. Don't love their secondary either. They'll miss Chris Paul on the offensive line. Coming in sixth in the conference with a record of 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Tulane Green Wave. Michael Pratt's back at quarterback. Tyjae Spears is back at running back. They don't have that much of a passing game. Two guys coming back from the offensive line. Their pass rush is actually decent. Okay secondary. Seventh in the conference, a record of 7-5 overall and 4-4 in conference play, I have the Ucf Knights. They are going to be terrific to watch offensively. A lot of veteran talent there. Offensive line's okay. Pass rush should be okay. But they are very loaded in the secondary. Absolutely loaded, with juniors and a redshirt senior starting for them, slated to. Coming in eighth in the conference with a record of 4-8 overall and 4-4 in conference play, the South Florida Bulls. South Florida, I think, is a program that's going to be better down the road. They should be a little bit better offensively. They have a solid line. Their pass rush has some talent, and they have literally no secondary to speak of. Number 9, I have SMU, 3-9 overall, 2-6 in conference play. Tanner Mordecai is back. Don't really love the offense around him, though. One lineman coming back. Their pass rush is going to be good, though, and one defensive back coming back as well. Number 10, I have Navy, the Naval Academy, the midshipmen. I don't think they're going to be very good. I have them 3-9 overall and 1-7 in conference play. They are just a mess. Not much offense to speak of. McQuell Haywood's promising at wide receiver. That's really it. But yeah, this is not the Navy of old. And in the cellar of the conference, with a record of 2-10 overall and 0-8 in conference play, the Temple Owls. This team is just bad too. They have some talent on the offensive line, and they have some players on the defensive side of the ball, but they're really not going to be a force to be reckoned with. And for the AAC Championship, I'm going to go with Cincinnati over East Carolina. And I say that because I think Cincinnati's a deeper team than East Carolina. Although I think Holden Allers is a more certain at quarterback than what Cincinnati has at this point. But I'm going with the team over the quarterback here. All right, the ACC Atlantic Division. In first place, I have with a record of 10-2 overall and 7-1 in conference play, the Clemson Tigers. I think they're among the biggest wild cards in the country this year, especially quarterback DJ Uiagalelei. He had that big game against Notre Dame a couple years ago in the COVID season where Trevor Lawrence missed the game because he had COVID. They're hoping to get that guy back. Don't love the talent around Uiagalelei. A couple starters back on the offensive line is a good thing. They're absolutely loaded in the pass rush, though. That's the bread and butter for Clemson. You can bank on their pass rush being amazing. Coming in second in this division with the record of 8-4 overall and 4-4 in conference play, the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Drake May, that's North Carolina's quarterback. David Leary is back at quarterback. I don't love the talent around him. Leary, though, is going to be one of the more valuable quarterbacks in this conference. I think he's going to single-handedly make them look better than they are. Their defense, I think, is going to be very good, though. And I think that will be a reason why they will have a good season. Number 3 in the division, I have the Florida State Seminoles. I have them 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play. Florida State is interesting. They really haven't been nationally relevant in a long time, probably since Jameis was there. Jordan Travis is their quarterback. They have some nice pieces around him. 2 starters back on the offensive line. Some questions on defense. But they're going to miss Jermaine Johnson in the pass rush, though, that's for sure. Number 4 of the Syracuse Orange, 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play. Couple changes here. Their offense, I think, is going to be pretty solid. Don't love their defense at all, though. Special teams should be good for them, though. Number 5, I have the Louisville Cardinals, 6-6 overall, 3-5 in conference play. A lot of people are high on their quarterback, Malik Cunningham. I don't think he has that much around him, though, to throw to. A couple guys back on the offensive line helps. Secondary should be good. And I'm not as high on this Louisville team as others are. Number 6, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, 7-5 overall, 3-5 in conference play. The Sam Hartman injury is a big deal. The absence is a big deal. We just don't know how long he's going to be away from the team for. So that was really hard to project Wake Forest this year. Hartman had that breakout year last year, so led to Wake Forest having a big season. there's some pieces that have left, such as Jakari Roberson and Brandon Chapman. He'll miss them. So I don't like what he has around him, but the offensive line's good. The pass rush is going to be really good. So I still think Wake will be decent. And 7th in the division with the 6-6 record and 3-5 in conference fight, the Boston College Golden Eagles. Phil Jerkovich is back. He was hurt last year, if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't have much around him. Boston College is really known for producing offensive line talent, but I think they lost a lot of that talent, such as Alec Lindstrom, Zion Johnson, and Ben Petrula, and Tyler Vrabel. That offensive line is not as good as years past. Don't love their defense. Their secondary is okay, though. Coastal Division, coming in first place with a record of 11-1 overall and 7-1 in conference fight. The Pittsburgh Panthers. Yes. I have a different team winning the Coastal Division than most. Pitt won it last year, if I'm not mistaken. Kenny Pickett's gone. Keaton Slovis takes over, the transfer from USC. They're loaded offensively despite losing Jordan Addison and Lucas Kroll. And their line is so good, loaded with redshirt seniors. Their defense is going to be solid. So look out for Pitt. And they have a favorable schedule, too. That's why I have such high hopes for them. Second in the division with a record of 9-3 overall and 6-2 in conference play, the Miami Hurricanes. Tyler Van Dyke back at quarterback. Don't really necessarily love the offense around him, but I think Van Dyke will have a good year. Zion Nelson back on the offensive line. He's terrific. DJ Scafe's the other lineman that they have. That's good. Pass rush is going to be fabulous. Secondary is going to be very good as well. So I think Miami's in good shape. Third place in the division with a record of 6-6 overall and 4-4 in conference fight, the Virginia Cavaliers. Brendan Armstrong back at quarterback. He has a lot to throw to, which is good. But Virginia really lacks talent on defense. In fourth in the division with the record of 7-5 overall and 4-4 in conference fight, the North Carolina Tar Heels. They lose Sam Howell, but in comes in Drake May, the redshirt freshman. They lost a lot of talent on the perimeter offensively as well. I think their defense is actually going to be really good this year. 5, the Virginia Tech Hokies, 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play. I'm not big on Virginia Tech, as I've been in years past. Their offense, the transfer Grant Wells comes in, but I don't like their offense at all. But I do like some players that they have in their defense. But this isn't Virginia Tech of old. Coming in 6th place with a record of 2-10 overall and 1-7 in conference play, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. This team's just a train wreck. Jeff Collins is the coach on the hot seat. They don't have many starters coming back. A lot of unknowns on this team. And the Stellar, the record of 3-9 overall and 1-7 in conference play, the Duke Blue Devils. Duke has more coming back than Georgia Tech does. That's the difference. That's the case for Duke. Surprising, but I don't see it. Their offense is weak. Their pass rush is okay. Special teams might be okay. All right, ACC Championship game. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Panthers and Caden Slovis over DJ and the Clemson Tigers. And Pitt will be in the conversation for the college football playoff, amazingly enough. Big Ten, East Division, coming in first place with a record of 12-0 overall and 9-0 in conference play. I mean, come on. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes. This team's absolutely loaded. They have revenge on their mind. C.J. Stroud's back. Among the Heisman favorites, they're loaded offensively. Their offensive line lost some talent, but still has some talent on it. Their pass rush is amazing like it is each and every year. Their secondary is loaded as well, despite all the talent that this team has lost. Coming in second in this division with the record of 11-1 overall and 8-1 in conference play, the Michigan Wolverines. I think that Michigan is going to be really good again. And I only have them losing one game. And you can guess who that's to. But loaded offensively, terrific offensive line. Their defense isn't as good as years past. They did lose some talent on that side of the ball, like Dax Hill and Aiden Hutchinson. Those are two NFL players right there. But otherwise, I think this team is going to be really, really good. In third place in this division with a record of 7-5 overall and 5-4 in conference play, the Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State really hasn't been a contender in a couple of years. They were a contender when they had Saquon Barkley on their team, and then they kind of took a step back as a program. But I do think they're going to be great offensively. Sean Clifford's back. And then defensively, I really like their secondary. Coming in fourth place in this division with a record of 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State had a surprisingly decent year last year. Their offense I really don't necessarily love. They have a couple starters back on the offensive line, which is a good thing. Same with the pass rush. So, Kenneth Walker, big loss. But I think that they will still be okay. And I do like Peyton Thorne as well. Coming in fifth in this division with a record of 4-8 overall and 3-6 in conference play, the Indiana Hoosiers. I don't like this Indiana team at all. They don't have many great players offensively. Their defense is okay. I actually do like their secondary. That's going to be the strength of their team. Sixth place with a record of 6-6 overall and 3-6 in conference play, the Maryland Terrapins. The reason why I have Indiana slated ahead of Maryland in the standings is because I've had the head. But Maryland, I projected in a bowl game. Taulia Tagovailoa, everybody loves him. That's to his brother. I think he will really be worth a lot in gambling, in point spreads. But I really don't like the rest of what's around Tagovailoa. And I do think they have had some key losses on both sides of the ball. And in the cellar of the Big Ten East, with a record of 3-9 overall, 1-8 in conference play, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Year 3 in Greg Schiano's second tenure. They really have so much question marks on both sides of the ball. Their best unit is probably their secondary. The West. Coming in first place with a record of 9-3 overall and 7-2 in conference play, the Purdue Boilermakers. Yes, I have Purdue winning the Big Ten West this year. I think they have a favorable schedule. I like what's around Aiden O'Connell in his sixth year. A lot of veteran talent around him. Decent offensive line. A really good secondary. Okay pass rush. So I think Boiler Up will represent the West Division in the Big Ten title game. Coming in second with a record of 8-4 overall and 5-4 in conference play, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa is a weird team to me. I think people are sick of them about how they always tend to rise to the occasion early and falter late and falter in the Big Ten championship game. They're kind of weak offensively, but their defense is absolutely loaded. Their defense is among the best in the conference. In third place in this division with a record of 7-5 overall, 5-4 in conference play, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I think Nebraska's finally going to have a decent year under Scott Frost. Adrian Martinez is gone. He could use a change of scenery. Their new quarterback is Casey Thompson. They have some questions offensively. I do like their pass rusher, especially with their linebackers. I do think they will miss some of their NFL losses. Number 4 in this division with record 7-5 overall and 4-5 in conference play, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Very veteran-laden team. Solid offense. Their defense is okay. Secondary is amazing. I do like PJ Fleck. Coming in fifth place in this division with the record 7-5 overall, 4-5 in conference play is the Wisconsin Badgers. This is not the Wisconsin of the past. I'm not a fan of Graham Mertz. Not much around Graham Mertz. but their defense should still be very solid. Coming in 6th place in this division with a record of 4-8 overall and 1-8 in conference play, the Northwestern Wildcats. This is not the Northwestern of old. Former South Carolina quarterback Ryan Helinski, who was awful with the Gamecocks, is now the starter at Northwestern. Peter Skronowski is one of the best tackles in the country. I feel sorry for him. He deserves better. Best unit on this team is probably their secondary, but you can make a case the linebackers are decent as well. And coming in the cellar of this Western Division with a record of 4-8 overall and 1-8 in conference play, the Illinois Fighting Illini. Brett Bielema is the coach. Tommy DeVito comes over from Syracuse. Not much to throw around to. Do like the pass rush here, but that's really it. And the Big Ten championship game, I'm going to go with C.J. Stroud and the Ohio State Buckeyes over the veteran-laden Purdue Boilermakers. The Big 12, coming in first place with the record of 11-1 overall and 8-1 in conference play, the Oklahoma Sooners. A lot of people are down on Oklahoma for some reason. I feel like Oklahoma is a team that rises to the occasion when people are doubting them and going with someone else as a darling pick to win that conference. Dylan Gabriel comes over from UCF. Solid talent around him. Offensive line's good. A lot of concerns about the defense, especially with some transfers coming in, but I do think ultimately that their defense might be better than expected. But they will miss some of the key losses that this team has suffered, and they'll obviously miss Lincoln Riley in the long haul. Coming in second in this conference with a record of 9-3 overall and 6-3 in conference play, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I like Oklahoma State this year. Spencer Sanders is one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12. Solid supporting cast around him. Solid offensive line. Like the pass rush. Secondary's decent. So this Oklahoma State team could give Oklahoma a run for its money in the Big 12. Coming in third in this division or conference with a record of 8-4 overall and 6-3 in conference play, the Texas Longhorns. I think Texas was snubbed from the preseason poll. Quinn Ewers will be starting at quarterback, the redshirt freshman. He has a lot around him from a talent standpoint, but no offensive line. That's what bothers me. Bijan Robinson is, I'm not 100% sure if he's going to feast like he has, especially against better pass rushers. And speaking of pass rushes, Texas has one of the best in the conference, if not the very best one in the conference. Their secondary is amazing as well. And they miss two key guys due to injury, Isaiah Nayer and Junior Agnew. Those are two huge losses for this Texas Longhorns team, or else this team would have been probably the team to beat in the Big 12. Coming in fourth in the Big 12 with a record of 7-5 overall, 5-4 in conference play, the Baylor Bears. A lot of people are high on Baylor this year. I don't love their offense, but they do have a good offensive line, which helps them. Their pass rush is absolutely loaded. Secondary is okay. Too much turnover offensively for Baylor, for me. Fifth in this conference with a record of 7-5 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the Kansas State Wildcats. I do like Kansas State. Adrian Martinez, maybe change of scenery guy. We'll see. He has more talent here than he did at Nebraska. Don't love the offensive line, though. Their defense is going to be good. Like their pass rush a lot. Coming in sixth in this conference, a record of 6-6 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I like Texas Tech offensively. I like their quarterback, Tyler Schroe. Couple starters coming back on the offensive line who happen to be the tackles, which helps the running game with Texas Tech. I really do like their pass rush, especially with the linebackers, and their secondary is going to be decent as well. Coming in 7th in this conference with a record of 6-6 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the West Virginia Mountaineers. They probably should be better than this, but as I did the schedules and projected wins and losses, this is where they end up. But I would not be stunned if this West Virginia team is better than my projection. JT Daniels comes over from Georgia. West Virginia lost a lot on offense. They still have a good offensive line, which helps them. Their pass rush is really good. Don't like their secondary very much. They do lose safety Alonzo Ade, which hurts them, and Sean Mahone. So some of the key losses there in the secondary with West Virginia. Coming in 8th in this conference, record of 6-6 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the Tcu Horned Frogs. TCU is another team that could be better than what I project as well. Loaded offensively. I like Max Duggan. Decent line. Don't love their defense, but their secondary has a chance to be okay. Coming in 9th in this conference, a record of 6-6 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the Iowa State Cyclones. I had Iowa Hawkeyes, the Iowa State Cyclones. Hunter Deckers takes over for longtime quarterback Brock Purdy. He has some talent to throw to. Like the offensive line. Don't love their defense. Secondary is going to be good, though. They'll miss Breece Hall. They'll miss Charlie Kolar. They'll miss Chase Allen. Too many losses for me. That's why they're this low. And number 10, with a record of 1-11 overall, 0-8 in conference play, the Kansas Jayhawks. This team's a hot mess. Probably the worst team in the Power 5. Jaylon Daniels is their starting quarterback. 2 linemen back on the offensive line, which isn't a bad thing. And only 2 guys that are above average starters coming back on defense. All right, the Big 12 championship game, I'm going to go with Dylan Gabriel and the Oklahoma Sooners over Spencer Rattler and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. All right, Conference USA. I think Conference USA is going to be one of the surprise conferences of the season this year. They're going to come through in a big way, even though they lost some key members over to the Sun Belt. Coming in first with a record of 11-1, 8-0 in conference play, the UAB Blazers. Yes, UAB. I love this UAB team. Dylan Hopkins is a decent quarterback. Good talent around him. Great offensive line, which is going to help the running game. Loaded in the secondary. Loaded pass rush. This is going to be one of the more surprising double-digit win teams in the country, as well as this next team, who I have at 10-2 overall, 7-1 in conference play, the UTSA Roadrunners. Frank Harris, you can make a case, is the best quarterback on a group of 5 team. I really am a fan. Great talent to throw to. A really good offensive line, decent pass rush. Secondary's okay, so hey, maybe you have another surprise team here. Coming in third in this conference, record of 9-3 overall, 6-2 in conference play, the Utep Miners. Yes, Utep. Great offense. Solid lines in both trenches, offensively and defensively. I have questions about their secondary and their special teams. They're going to be really good too. Fourth in this conference, a record of 6-6 overall, 5-3 in conference play, the FAU Owls. FAU was a contender in the past in this conference. I don't see it this year. They'll be good offensively. They have some starters coming back on the line. Don't love their defense at all. Secondary might be okay. Number 5 in this conference, record 6-6 overall, 5-3 in conference play. the Charlotte 49ers. They're going to be good offensively. I really like their running game. I like their quarterback, Chris Reynolds. Decent wide receivers. But I just don't think they're going to stop anybody. Coming in sixth in this conference, I have the record of 8-4 overall, 4-4 in conference play. The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Austin Reed back at quarterback. He says good wide receivers to throw to, a decent offensive line. Pass rush is going to be good, and I like the secondary too. They just have a lot of key losses. I just think that Bailey Zappi is better than Austin Reed. That's all. Love Miss Zappi. Coming in seventh place with the record of 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the North Texas Mean Green. Their offense is actually going to be okay. A couple good linemen they have. They don't have much defensively, though. Coming in eighth place in this conference, record of 6-6 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Fiu Panthers. Gunnar Holmberg is back. He comes over and transfer. Don't love their offense. Really don't love their defense, although they might have a good pass rush. 9, the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. I have them slated 3-9 overall, 2-6 in conference play. This is not the Louisiana Tech of old. Their offense is not very good. Their pass rush will be good, though. That's the one thing I like about their team. Number 10, I have Rice. 3-9 overall, 1-7 in conference play, the Rice Owls. They have a chance to have a good offense. They actually have a decent line. They have a decent defensive line as well. An okay secondary. And in the cellar of this conference, the record of 1-11 overall and 0-8 in conference play, the Middle Tennessee Blue the Blue Raiders. I knew it was Blue something. I apologize for screwing up some of these team names. They really don't have much on offense. They have some okay players on defense. I think some of these transfer losses are going to kill them, though. And in the Conference USA Championship game, I'm going to go actually with UTSA over UAB in the Conference USA Championship game. Independents. All right. First place in the Independents with a record of 10-2, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame's loaded, as they are each and every year. Tyler Buckner, I think, is in a previous situation at quarterback. They have a loaded offensive line. They don't have the same firepower offensively like they used to, but guys break out on that team each and every year. Their pass rush is insanely good. Their secondary is insanely good. So Notre Dame's a defensive-minded football team right now. Coming in second place with a record of 9-3 overall, the BYU Cougars. BYU has been really good the past several years. They have a really good offense, a solid offensive line. Their pass rush is okay, but I think their secondary is amazing. Coming in third out of Independence with a record of 5-7 overall, the Liberty Flames. They'll miss Malik Willis. There's some talent there offensively, and I do like their offensive line. They have literally no talent on defense. In fourth with a record of 5-7, the Army Black Knights. I think Army takes a step back. They don't have much on either side of the ball. I'm sorry. Coming in fifth. Oh my God, this is hold your nose time. Arguably the 3 worst teams in the entire sport right here. Coming in fifth at 2-10, the Uconn Huskies. They are just not good at all. They have like zero talent. They lose Travis Jones. That's the talent, and he's in the NFL now. Sixth with a record of 2-10, the UMass. Who are they? The Minutemen. They're just not good either. 3 notable players coming back. that are above average. And at 111, New Mexico State, the New Mexico State Aggies. This New Mexico State team is just really bad. But I'll give them credit here. They actually have some players on defense. And they arguably have the worst quarterback in the sport. All right, the MAC. East Division coming in first, record of 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play. The Buffalo Bulls. Buffalo's had some good years, and they've had some mediocre years. Their offense should be good, but I really like their pass rush. Their pass rush is going to lead this team to a division crown. Coming in second with the record of 6-6 overall and 4-4 in conference play. Wait for it, guys. You might not be expecting this. The Bowling Green Falcons. Yes. I think they're a surprise player this year, and I really like their offense. And then on defense, they have some talent as well. I like their pass rush. Like, Bowling Green won't be terrible this year. Coming in third in this division with the record of 5-7 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Brett Gabbert back at quarterback. They have a couple good wide receivers and tight ends. A couple good linemen. Don't really love their defense, though. Coming in fourth in this division, 5-7 overall, 4-4 in conference play. The Kent State Golden Flashes. I think they're going to score some points. I really do like their offense, but their defense isn't going to stop many people. But I do think that their secondary might be okay. Coming in fifth with a record of 3-9 overall, 2-6 in conference play, the Akron Zips. Akron does have some more talent than given credit for. But I just don't think that it's going to pan out. And then the bottom of this division, 2-10 overall, 1-7 in conference play, the Ohio Bobcats. Ohio is no good. They have no skill talent whatsoever. And they do have some players on defense, so I guess I'll give them credit there. Western Division, coming in first place with the record of 8-4 overall, 6-2 in conference play, Northern Illinois. I do like them offensively. They have some good young running backs and wide receivers that I like. Really solid offensive line. And I do like their secondary. Coming in second with the record of 7-5 overall, 5-3 in the conference, the Toledo Rockets. I do like Toledo. I've been a fan of this program for a while. Their offense isn't great, but I do like their defense a lot. Could be one of the best ones in the conference. Coming in third in this division, 7-5 overall, 5-3 in the conference, Ball State. Ball State, their offense might actually be okay. Have some guys back on the offensive line, but they're not going to stop anybody. Fourth with the record of 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Central Michigan Whippias. Central Michigan, interesting school for sure. Interesting team. The Chippewas. There we go. I think they're going to have a decent passing game. I really do. But I really think the strength of this team is the pass rush. And special teams as well. Next up in fifth, 5-7 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Western Michigan Broncos. They had a surprisingly good year a few years ago. Their offense, I think, is going to be good. They have a couple good linemen that I like. Pass rush is really good. But I don't think it's enough for a bowl game. And in the Celtics division, 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference play, Eastern Michigan. I really don't love their offense. I have a couple guys back on the line, which helps. And they literally have no talent on defense. And then the MAC championship, I'm going to go with... this is a hard one. I'm going to go with Northern Illinois over Buffalo. All right, the Mountain West Conference. Coming in first in the Mountain Division with the record of 9-3 overall, 7-1 in conference play, the Boise State Broncos. This isn't Boise of old. I don't love their offense, but I think having a couple good linemen back helps. Their pass rush is insanely good, and I think their secondary is insanely good. This Boise team's going to ride their defense. Coming in second in this division, record of 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play, the Colorado State I'm blanking on their school name now. The Rams. I knew it was something simple. They have a redshirt freshman starting Clay Millen. He has a lot of talent to throw to. Offensive line has a couple guys back. Pass rush looks solid. Coming in third in this division, 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play, the Utah State Aggies. Utah State very veteran laden. A lot of veterans coming back. Good offensive line. Their defense has some playmakers on it as well. Fourth in the division, 8-4 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Air Force Falcons. I think Air Force is very veteran laden too. I think they're going to have a solid passing game, a great offensive line. But their defense, I think, has some questions. Fifth, 4-8 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Wyoming Cowboys. This Wyoming team, they have some guys back on the offensive line, but I just don't trust the positional guys. And I don't really love their defense either. They have a couple guys on the pass rush that I like. But that's it. And in sixth in this division, the Stars 4-8 overall, 2-6 in conference play. The New Mexico Lobos. New Mexico just has a lack of talent offensively. But I'll tell you something I like about New Mexico. I like their secondary. Decent unit. Western Division coming in first with a record of 9-3 overall, 6-2 in conference play. The San Diego State Aztecs. San Diego State's a perennial team in this conference. I think their offense has some questions, especially on the offensive line. I do like their running backs. Defense is where it's going to travel for this team, again, as usual. Love the pass rush. Secondary. I don't mind their secondary, but I do think they'll miss Cam Thomas, the pass rusher. Coming second in this division, 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Fresno State Bulldogs. I'm not as high on Fresno State as others are. Their offense should be okay. I do like their line. Has some talent on defense too. Very veteran-laden team, but I don't think their schedule makers did them a favor. Third in this division, 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the San Jose State Spartans. Their offense should be okay. They have some transfers coming in at a lot of positions. I do think they have a competent defense, especially within the middle of the defense with the linebackers. Fourth in the division, 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. I think Hawaii will be better than expected. I think they'll have a good home field advantage like they do every year. Like their offensive line. I think they do have some questions, especially at the wide receiver position. No secondary, though, bothers me. Everyone's going to throw on them. Fifth in the division, 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the UNLV Rebels. I think that UNLV is going to be one of the more improved teams in the conference. Harrison Bailey back at quarterback. He's a young guy that's only going to get better. Don't have much around him, though. A couple starters back on the offensive line. Defense has some questions, though. And at the bottom of this division, 4-8 overall, 1-7 in conference play, the Nevada Wolfpack. I'm not high on Nevada at all. A lot of like transfers coming in and whatnot. A lot of guys left. They're not as deep offensively as they have in the past. Their offensive line's not very good. They have no secondary. And the Mountain West title game, this is a tougher one for me to call, but I'm going to go with Boise State over San Diego State. All right, the Pac-12. No more divisions in the Pac-12, so they did away with divisions. So good job on the Pac-12. Winning this conference with a record of 11-1 overall, 8-1 in conference play, the USC Trojans. Yes, USC. Big bounce back year for them. Lincoln Riley's in. Caleb Williams is in. He has a ton of talent to throw to. Offensive line's very good. Pass rush, I like, especially in the interior, like in the middle of their pass rush. And I think that their secondary is going to be decent too. They have a lot of good transfers coming in, especially from Oklahoma. And in a conference where there aren't as strong as offenses as in the Big 12, I do think that those Oklahoma additions will really help the Trojans this year. Coming in second in this conference, record 9-3 overall, 7-2 in conference play, the Oregon Ducks. I do think Oregon is going to suffer for some losses. Bo Nix comes over from Auburn. Don't really like what Bo Nix has around him. Good offensive line should help him. Noah Seal back in the pass rush. That's really good news for them. Don't like their secondary, though. Coming in third in this conference, record of 10-2 overall, 7-2 in conference play, the Utah Utes. I'm high on Utah this regular season. Cameron Rising, really good quarterback. They have a really good tight end duo. Their defense is absolutely loaded, especially in the pass rush. Coming in fourth with a record of 6-6 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the Arizona State Sun Devils. I think they're going to be better than expected. Couple guys back on the offensive line. I don't think their offense is going to be that great, but it could be better than expected. But they do have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball, which is good. I do think they'll miss a lot of their guys at the left, like Rashad White and Ricky Pearsall. Coming in fifth in this division, 7-5 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the Oregon State Beavers. I like Oregon State a lot. They have a freshman running back coming in, Damian Martinez, who should help their running game. They have a really good offensive line. They have weapons on offense for quarterback Chase Nolan to throw to. And they are deep defensively, especially in the secondary. They are so deep. I think Oregon State has a chance to be better than what I project for them. Sixth in the conference, 6-6 overall, 4-5 in conference play, the California Golden Bears. I think Cal will finally be better under Wilcox. I think their offense is going to be better, very veteran-laden. They have a good offensive line. Pass rush is okay. They have some guys in the secondary that I like. Seventh, 6-6 overall, 3-6 in conference by the UCLA Bruins. I think UCLA will be really good offensively, led by DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They have some transfers coming in. They really don't have a great offensive line. Their pass rush isn't good. So I'm kind of worried about UCLA in that regard. Eighth, 4-8 overall, 3-6 in conference play, the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona could be better than this. I like their quarterback, Jaden DeLura. Not much to throw to, though. Pass rush and secondary units that might be a little better than people think. 9, the Washington State Cougars, 6-6 overall, 3-6 in conference play. The reason why Arizona's ahead of them in the conference standings is because I've had the head, but I have Wazoo in a bowl over Arizona because of the non-con stuff. I do like Wazoo offensively. I like Cam Ward, like the talent around him. Some talent defensively. They're going to have good special teams. 10 is the Colorado Buffaloes, 4-8 overall, 3-6 in conference play. They don't have much talent at all, especially on offense. But I do kind of like their pass rush. They might generate some sort of pass rush. Number 11, the Washington Huskies, 5-7 overall, 2-7 in conference play. I don't like this Washington team at all. Super overrated. Their offense should be able to put up some points. I do like their line. They have some talent coming back. They're a team that really never puts it all together. The schedule makers did not do them a favor this year. And in the cellar of the Pac-12, 2-10 overall, 2-7 in conference play, the Stanford Cardinal. This is not the Stanford Cardinal of old. David Shaw must be thinking, what the hell did I do here? Their recruiting hasn't really been that great. I'll tell you what, though, Stanford's offense will be better, and I do like Tanner McKee. Their issues lie on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that they have a really rocky schedule as well. All right, Pac-12 title, I'm going to go with the USC Trojans over the Oregon Ducks. So Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley, USC, get it done in year one. The SEC, the Eastern Division, winning it with a record of 12-0 overall, 8-0 in conference play. I mean, come on. It's the defending champion, Georgia Bulldogs. They're loaded. They're loaded every year. Stetson Bennett's back. They have some really good receivers, an excellent offensive line. Their best player from last year, Jalen Carter's back on defense. Their secondary is really good. So I really do like this Georgia team a lot. Coming in second with a record of 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play, the Florida Gators. They have some questions. They have a talented quarterback, Anthony Richardson. They have a new coach coming over from Louisiana. I just don't like the talent that Richardson has around him. Don't love the offensive line either. They have some talent on defense, but they could overachieve because of the head coach. Coming in third in this division, 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the South Carolina Gamecocks. Spencer Rattler comes over from Oklahoma. Really good offense for Rattler, and I like the talent there as well. But they have a lot of questions on defense. Fourth, 7-5 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Tennessee Volunteers. I think Tennessee is one of the more overhyped teams coming into the season because they overachieved the year ago. Usually a team that overachieves the previous year and gets a ton of pipe in for the next year tends to fail, and I think there's a chance that is Tennessee. I do like their offensive line. I think they're going to be able to protect the quarterback, Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker, I think, is one of the more valuable quarterbacks in the country because of the lack of talent around him, per se. And I really don't like their defense either. Fifth, 6-6 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Missouri Tigers. Missouri, I think, will just be better by default because you can only go up. I do like their quarterback, Brady Cook. I think he'll be better. Great offensive line. And I like their secondary. They have good special teams, too. Sixth, 7-5 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Kentucky Wildcats. This Kentucky team, I think, can go in various directions. I like the quarterback, Will Lewis. Solid offensive line behind him. Again, the strength of this team's on defense. I like their pass rush a lot, and they have an excellent head coach in Mark Stoops. And in the cellar of the SEC East, the worst team in the conference, 1-11 overall, 0-8 in conference play, the Vanderbilt Commodores. They should really just play Kansas in a round robin and maybe throw in like Rutgers and some of these other terrible Power 5 teams in there. Georgia Tech, Duke. Actually, Rutgers might be a little bit better. So I'm talking about like Rutgers pre-Greg Schiano Rutgers. But this year it'd be Georgia Tech, Duke, Vandy, maybe even Stanford. But Stanford's probably better than all those teams from a talent standpoint. But yeah, Vandy's just atrocious. Zero talent. And who knows, maybe they'll have a different coach come next season because they tend to change coaches more often than not. Clark Lay, year 2. SEC West, I mean, come on. Coming in first, 12-0 overall, 8-0 in the conference. Did you have any doubt? Roll Tide, roll. It's Alabama. Bryce Young's the best quarterback in college football, hands down. A ton of talent around him. Jermaine Burton comes over in a transfer. Really good offensive line. Pass rush is amazing. Will Anderson, best player in the country, arguably. Secondary is absolutely loaded. A lot of key losses, though. They'll miss Evan Neal. They'll miss James Williams. They'll miss Brian Robertson Jr. They'll miss John Mitchie, but I think they'll be fine. Coming in second in this division, 8-4 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Auburn Tigers. Yes, I think Auburn's going to overachieve this year. Zach Calzada should be the quarterback. Good running game with Tank Bigsby. They have some questions, though, at the position and wide receiver and tight end a little bit, although John Samuel Schenker's not bad. Offensive line questions. Great pass rush, though. Decent secondary. And excellent special teams. You know Auburn's always going to have good special teams. Third in division, 8-4 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M, it's funny that Jimbo and Nick Saban had a bunch of trash talk at him all offseason long. But A&M should be okay. Their offense, I think, has some questions at wide receiver outside of Anees Smith and that tight end. Decent offensive line. They get the right side of their line and the center back. Don't love their pass rush, but they're going to have an excellent secondary. Fourth with a record of 8-4 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Ole Miss Rebels. I do like Ole Miss. Jackson Dart is the transfer quarterback that comes in, replacing Matt Corral. Don't really love the talent around them, but I do like the offensive line. Secondary is decent, but not the rest of the defense. Fifth in the division, 7-5 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Lsu Tigers. Anybody from 2-7 in the SEC West can conceivably come in second. It's Alabama and it's everybody else. It would not shock me if any team 2-7 finishes in any order. Unless if Alabama was between 2 and 7. So LSU, Jaden Daniels is a new quarterback. John Emery's back at running back. Some questions in terms of who will Daniels throw to outside of Keishawn Budo. I don't love the offensive line. Pass rush is amazing, as it always is. And I do like their secondary as well. Coming in sixth with a record of 6-6 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Will Rogers is the quarterback. I think Mike Leach has a good system. I think Rogers will succeed. Two really good receivers. Don't love the offensive line outside of LaQuinston Sharp. Pass rush should be okay with all these super seniors, and then don't love the secondary either. And in the cellar of the SEC West, the record of 6-6 overall, 3-5 in conference play, the Arkansas Red Wolves. Arkansas, I think, has a lot of questions, especially on offense. Who's KJ Jefferson going to throw to? I do like the offensive line. Don't love their defense at all. They'll miss Treylon Burks big time. All right, SEC Championship. I'm going to go with the same result as the wait, was that the result in the SEC title game last year? Let's see. Yes, I'm going to have the same result as last year. Alabama over Georgia in the SEC title game. Bryce Young will be the MVP of the game, as he was last year. All right, last but not least, the Sun Belt coming in first with a record of 8-4 overall, 6-2 in conference play. Georgia State. A lot of people are high on Georgia State this year, as am I. They have a pretty good offense. A couple decent guys coming back on the offensive line. Really do like their pass rush, their front seven. And I think their secondary is okay. So that, to me, is a good Sun Belt team. Second, 9-3 overall, 6-2 in conference play, Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina was the darlings of this conference last year. They won it, if I'm not mistaken, a year ago. Decent offense around Grayson McCall. Good offensive line. Questions arise on defense, though. Third in the East Division with a record of 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play. The Marshall Thundering third. They're the newbies of the conference. Marshall's going to be really good offensively. They have a good line. They have some talent on defense, too. Fourth with the record of 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play. Appalachian State, the Mountaineers. I do like App State. Chase Bryce is in his second year there already. He has a lot of talent to throw the ball to. Two good running backs. Good offensive linemen. I like their front seven. Secondary is good as well. Fifth in the division, 5-7 overall, 4-4 in conference play. The Old Dominion Monarchs, so they're new to the Sun Belt as well. They're going to put up some points. I think they're going to have a good offense, but their defense is not very good. And you know what? There's actually one part of their defense that could be okay, and that's the secondary. Sixth with a record of 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference play. Georgia Southern, the Georgia Southern Bulldogs. I think they're the Bulldogs. Their offense is going to be okay. I do like that they have some guys coming back on the offensive line. A lot of questions in their front seven. And I do like their secondary, though. And in the cellar of the East Division, 3-8 overall, 1-7 in conference play. The newbies to the FBS, the James Madison Dukes. I think James Madison's going to be a good team in the Sun Belt in the future, but not right away. They're going to score some points. I do think they're going to be good offensively. I do like a little bit of their pass rush, but they have no secondary to speak of. And in the Sun Belt West Division, coming in first, record 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play, the Texas State Bobcats. I do like Texas State. They have a really good offensive line, an okay quarterback. Don't love the guys around Hatcher, Wayne Hatcher, the quarterback. Their front seven, it could be okay. They have a good kicker, though, in Seth Keller, so they could have good special teams. Second, 7-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. They're usually a perennial contender in this league. They're going to have a good offense. They have a good line. An okay front seven. A really good secondary, though. Third, with a record of 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play, South Alabama. South Alabama, I think, could surprise some people this year. They have some talent offensively. They have a good offensive line. And I think they're going to have good special teams, and I think they're going to be good in the secondary. Excuse me there. Fourth, 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Troy Trojans. Troy was a contender a few years ago, and then they lost to Neil Brown, and then they really haven't been that great since. I like their quarterback, Gunnar Watson. He doesn't have much around him. Good offensive line, though. Their front seven is probably the best in the Sun Belt, and they have a really good secondary as well. Fifth, with a record of 6-6 overall, 4-4 in conference play, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, another newbie to the party. They have a redshirt freshman starting at quarterback, Ty Keys, which is interesting. Frank Gore Jr. is one of the better running backs in the conference. Don't love their offense. They really don't have an offensive line. Their secondary is going to shine defensively, though. Sixth, 5-7 overall, 3-5 in conference play. The Arkansas State Red Wolves, they're usually a perennial contender in this conference, but I think they take a step back this year. I do like their offense. James Blackman has some guys to throw to. But don't love their defense at all. They have one above-average player on defense, and Kevon Bennett. And in the cellar of the Sun Belt, 1-11 overall, 0-8 in conference play, Louisiana Monroe. They're always the worst team in this conference. I think they're going to be worse than James Madison. They have a good receiver in Boogie Knight, and that's really all they have offensively. And their defense has some questions as well. And they'll miss the pass rusher, Ty Shelby. And then conference championship, we're going to go Georgia State over Texas State. All right, so there you have it for this part of the predictions. Part 2 is going to be college football playoff, national championship, Heisman, and then some bets that I made, as well as some bold predictions.